I want to introduce you to YouCan. If you're not already aware, YouCan is a free interactive online resource from HEPC used for exploring higher education options. It's aimed at Year 9 and Year 10 students who are exploring their progression options, but it's actually a really good option for any students, sort of 8 through to Year 13 and Level 3, Level 2 learners. You can use it for any students within that range, but it is aimed at Year 9 and Year 10 students. It can be used in a classroom with a teacher or independently by students. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on today. And it provides a really valuable and engaging resource for remote learning. So if that's still an option in your centre and you are still issuing remote learning, it's a really great opportunity to use YouCan. Students are able to log in, track their progress and make notes in their personal scrapbook. It includes skills assessment based on 5 skills that align with the Skills Builder framework and aligns to Gatsby benchmarks. And it provides you useful tracking data for your students via the HEPC team. As students progress through the modules, the data is captured on their usage and all the data, of course, is stored securely using your data sharing agreement with HEPC. So in terms of the 8 modules, and we're going to explore a couple of those today, they split into various different components. We have the starter pack, which is one of the modules we're going to look at today, which includes a skills assessment, careers knowledge, and we cover 5 different sectors: routes into higher education, life in higher education, overcoming obstacles, employability skills, confidence and communication, and then there's a summary and reflection module at the end of the session or at the end of the product, at the end of YouCan. YouCan is mainly comprised of information, films, quizzes and questions, and I'll be taking you through again some of those modules today. So the next thing that I'm going to do is do a short demo of YouCan for you. That requires me to stop sharing my screen, so bear with me. And it requires me to show you the login page for YouCan. So here you can see the login page for YouCan. And this is what you would see when students come to log in. Each student will have individual details for them. And I'm obviously just using a demo account today. So there's no actual user called 1225, but there is obviously individual logins that you'll have for each of your students. And in the best practice or the good practice guide from the pilot, which we did last year, there's also some suggestions on how you can best share the logins with students. So I'm going to log in. This is where we hope it works. Wonderful. So this is the page then that students will see when they log into YouCan. And as you can see, it's laid out in the 8 modules. And it's from here that students navigate to each module. On module 1, which you can see here, this has to be completed before any other modules can be accessed. However, once you've done module 1, the beauty of this product is you can start to dip in and out of the various different modules of your choices. So you can either choose to do ones which fit your centre, or you can complete the whole of YouCan. The modules can be completed independently, and the whole process, the product of YouCan, includes enough guidance for students to complete from home and can also be supported in lesson times, form times and curriculum. YouCan was designed using a variety of different resources, some of which I'll be showing you today, and it's jam-packed with short videos bespoke for YouCan and from HEP and HEPC, as well as lots of great information on HE, routes into higher education and careers. It also additionally includes interactive quizzes, true or false tasks, ranking tasks, matching activities, reflection questions, top tips and signposting. And there's even an interactive map of South Yorkshire colleges and HE institutions. Students can also watch virtual tours of universities, prepare for an open day, and even design their own university room. It's an incredibly flexible and detailed product. So with that, let me show you module 1. So like I've already mentioned, module 1 is the thing that opens all of the other modules up, and everything else is locked before completing module 1. Module 1 is your introductory module, and it gives you some information about what students are going to cover. Tells you the different modules that students are going to cover when they do YouCan. And the aim of this first module is to really help you find out about HE initially. There's a rating activity for key skills, which I'll show you in just a second. And like I've said already, it provides an overview of YouCan and the overall outcomes that we're hoping people or students, will achieve. I'm going to click next. That takes us through to this next page. And what's really unique about YouCan, and one of the things that creates a scenario in which students can use it at home, is this document called Explanations. So if you open Explanations, you can see there's a higher education glossary, and that's essentially that just takes us through loads of different keywords associated with higher education that students might not be sure about. And they can access that at any time throughout YouCan by clicking a little icon at the top that's the question mark, and that will open that up. You can also open up something called the Scrapbook, and the Scrapbook is designed to essentially be the note section for YouCan. And again, students can access this at any time by clicking the pencil icon that you can see there. I'm going to open the Scrapbook to show you. Hopefully you can see that someone magically has already commented inside the Scrapbook, and if you can't see it, it says I love YouCan, and YouCan is an excellent tool for schools and colleges, because of course here at HEPSI we feel like that is true. This is a downloadable Scrapbook as well, which means that when students write in it, we can then download it after, or they can download it after, to have as a connection to everything they've covered in YouCan. From here, I'm going to take you through to the next section for Module 1. In Module 1, we start with 2 videos, myth busting and then benefits of HE videos. I'm not going to show you the videos now, but they were bespoke, made for HEP and partnered with the Sheffield Hallam and the University of Sheffield. And there's 2 videos that you work through. So you've got benefits of HE and then myth busting. And students would watch those before continuing to choose their YouCan guide. Now, these YouCan guides were designed to be diverse and really inclusive. And this YouCan guide accompanies you on your entire kind of journey throughout YouCan. You can choose from a variety of different characters. I have chosen right down at the bottom Ming, and as you can see, I chose her because she's HEPS purple. So meet Ming. Ming has a creative flair and enjoys painting when she's not studying medicine at the University of Manchester. She wants to specialise in oncology, which means helping people with cancer. And you can choose a variety of different guides to take you through, and they pop up throughout YouCan with those various tips and sort of suggestions. So next, the first part of the introductory module starter pack is to rank yourself. Now, this is locked for me because I've already done it once on a different demo, but students would go through and rank themselves or rate themselves on creativity, presenting, aiming high, teamwork, problem solving. And what that would then do is then generate for us on the next page, and if I'd completed it, this would show, but is a bar chart for us to see the various different skills that they have covered. From here, you can click next, and it provides you just a summary of what we've covered. So we've talked about that Module 1, just covering options at higher education, starting to think about an introduction to higher education and that assessment of skills. If I'm to click next, it'll take me back to the home page. As if by magic, that's where it takes us. And I'm going to show you, now that these would be all unlocked for me, I'm going to show you Module 3. Once Module 1 is unlocked, like I've already said, you can dip in and out of the module. So if your centre has a particular focus they want to achieve, you can start to look at Module 4, then go back to Module 2, then go to Module 3. It's very, very flexible as a product. It's very flexible. You can also just start in Module 1 and work all the way through. So I'm going to show you Module 3. So again, this section includes a bespoke YouCan video, and it starts with an introduction, obviously, to the routes into higher education, tells you how long the section is going to take. This module will take us about 30 minutes in total. And it starts with, like I've said, the YouCan video, which is to explore routes into higher education. We also have the link to the Scrapbook, which is where we store our notes if we want to. And we then traverse into a section about choices and pathways. This gives information about the variety of different routes into higher education, including various clickable different sections, and provides information about degrees, degree apprenticeships, higher national certificates and diplomas. And this section is really designed to get students thinking about the different ways they can access HE and exploring those different routes into higher education, which isn't just an undergraduate. There's lots of different options. So if I click next, in Module 3, students also get the opportunity to plan their route and reflect on their next step. So they get the chance to start thinking about the path that they want to take, what type of course they want to take. We've got a top tip from Ming there, our guide, where they're going to study, what they want to do and see themselves doing at 18, the jobs that they might want to do, and then some reflection questions about higher education and the things they've learned so far in the module. And as you can see, Ming has already given us a top tip, and that's sort of an example of how the guide starts to take us through. And this is a really good example of the chunking used in YouCan and how the resource is broken into sections to help students learn and progress. So we've covered the plotting of their route, and then we do some reflection questions at the end of that section. We then click next, so still in module 3, we arrive at the virtual or interactive map of South Yorkshire. Now, this interactive map of South Yorkshire is designed to help students visualise studying closer to home as an option, and it covers colleges and universities across South Yorkshire. It really promotes the idea that HE doesn't always mean moving far away, and as you can see when I click, so for example here, it shows me the centre as well as a signpost to their website for students to explore more. So we've got Dearne Valley College, Doncaster College and University Centre, the Advanced Transport and Infrastructure National College, and then over here Northern College and Barnsley College. And there's various different institutions across the map of South Yorkshire, and then you have the lovely key across the bottom to tell us the different regions. And again, that's there really to promote staying closer to home if that's an option that students want. From here, we'd move to look at an open day at the University of Sheffield Hallam, and we watch a open day, a virtual open day. Now, this is designed to give people a chance to explore those virtual tours and to think about universities and compare them using targeted questions. If you've yet to use virtual open days in your centre, they are an incredibly powerful tool. So you'll see if I roll down here at the bottom, you can watch the virtual tour from the University of Sheffield. You can watch the virtual tour from Sheffield Hallam, the University of Derby, and then Leeds Beckett University as well. There's another fantastic top tip from Ming. And then here it also asks students some targeted questions about what they found out from watching the open day videos. And what's really important about this is it's a really fantastic opportunity to give students an experience of university without them travelling. It gives them a great starting point for considering where they might want to visit next. From here then, I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. And finally, for module 3, we're preparing for an open day. So we go through an open day checklist, which I'm not going to open, but it's a checklist of how to prepare for an open day. And we prepare students for questions they might want to ask on the day. So you'll see here it says below are some questions you could ask at an open day. Rank these questions in order of most important to you. So you can start to move things up and down and start to organise the ranking and thinking about the questions you want to cover whilst you're at an open day. And students need to think really carefully about the questions they'll want to ask before visiting. And it's just a really nice way to get people or students thinking about the various different things they want to investigate when they go to visit a university. Again, we get another top tip from Ming about taking the questions with you, taking a pen and paper, and not forgetting to make sure you're registered and things are posted out about your open day, like a map and agenda. Just a really fantastic top tip from Ming. Then finally, we get to the section which is a summary. And what's really nice about YouCan is there's always signposting. So the entirety of the product of YouCan is filled with signposting. So you get a summary of the module, and then at the bottom you get signposts, to find out about other websites or pages which will give you information about university courses, degree apprenticeships, and open days. And so there's lots and lots and lots of material to explore outside of YouCan, and that's a fabulous part of YouCan, is it's about exploring other resources as well. So if I click next, that takes me back to our open page, and the next place that I'm going to take you from here is to module 6, which is employability skills. Again, you can see the same layout, a top tip from Ming, the scrapbook, which I've already described. And then here again, we start with a video about the employability skills that employers look for. Students watch that before then having to rank the different skills that they think are important for employability. So for example, attention to detail, flexibility, creativity, and they're working to, again, rank these activities or these skills for this next section. Moving on in module 6, we have another top tip from Ming, And then you get the opportunity to match some skills to different sectors. So we've got occupational therapy, and here you can match in a true or false sort of method these various different skills to occupational therapy. The same applies to something like robotics engineering, and you can work your way through and see which skills generally apply to which centres or which sectors. And that's got the various different sectors on that. So it's got occupational therapy, game design, business and enterprise management, robotics engineering, and then paramedic. Moving on from there, then you have the opportunity for students to identify their own skills. So they're starting to think about the skills that they have as an individual, and they're using all the learning from the module they've just covered to fill in these various different sections about the skills that they have. From here, you get the opportunity to think about ways to improve those skills, and it has some really great suggestions for how to improve your confidence, how to improve literacy, how to improve problem solving, project management. And then this is the section where students get the opportunity to plan how they're going to improve their skills. So skill one might be critical thinking, and then they're using this information up here to think about how they're going to improve that skill. So if our skill is critical thinking, one way I could improve it is to make use out of old packaging, and that's to use sort of creative thinking, to think outside the box and to make something new out of something old. The same goes for something like research skills, researching a topic that they're interested in, and they're really planning how to use and improve those skills. Again, we have a top tip from Ming. And from here, we again go to signposting, so you can learn more about the skills employers are looking for on these links. You can help improve your skills on these links here, the National Career Service, and you can also look at finding out the skills you need for your career options. And again, it's signposting students out of YouCan to other resources as well as that which we have in place. So I'm going to click on the home icon here. And the final section that I want to show you is module 8, which is here. And this is our summary and reflection. And this is the final part of our YouCan. So once you've done all 8 modules, it says, well done, you've made it to the final module of YouCan, and you'll hopefully find some more about higher education. Again, we have our reference to our scrapbook, which is throughout YouCan, and it starts to get students to think about how they have reflected and learned about higher education. There's a quiz here that comprises of 12 questions, and you've got true or false and the answer to, or the opportunity to check your answer. You have some multiple choice questions about the different types of ways into higher education, and that's 12 questions in total, a mixture of those multiple choices and true or false questions. And that's just a really good way to summarize what it is that students have learned taking the YouCan product. From here, students also get the opportunity to download a copy of HEP's To Go or Not To Go booklet. And this is a 28-page booklet, which is full of information about student finance, full of information about life at university and the benefits of HE. And the final part of this section of this module is that you go back and rank your skills again. So we've done the sort of assessment of knowledge. We've looked at the 28-page booklet from HEP, and then you get the opportunity to re-rank yourself. And we get here to see the progress that students have made from the beginning of YouCan through to the end. And again, I'm not going to do this because it's been done for me or in a previous session, so it's locked, but it would then show us our overall ratings and how things have compared to how much we've learned. And that's a really useful summary to show progress through the product. Again, we have a final tip from Ming. And what I'm going to do from here is take us back to home. That brings us to the end of the demo. Okay, and I'm going to take us back to the presentation and talk through the welcome pack for YouCan. Just a reminder that there will be a Q&A at the end of the session, and I will take any questions you have about the demo or anything else, so please post in chat. I'm going to share my screen now so you can see the PowerPoint again. So let's try and get that large. There we go. So I've done the demo. Now, in terms of the welcome pack, When you sign up to YouCan, on sign up, you get a welcome pack from Hepsi, and that includes implementation guidance, which is based on the pilot that we ran last year, a student flyer, a staff flyer, a YouCan introduction PowerPoint perfect for assemblies or for form time, and then branded certificates to help motivate and reward students as well. So you get the implementation guidance, which is all the best practice pulled together from the various different pilots that we did last year, the flyer to hand to students, the flyer to hand to staff, and a YouCan introduction PowerPoint for assemblies and form time. In that pilot guidance, that implementation guidance, you get information about how you can run YouCan in your centre, how to introduce YouCan to staff, how to engage students in YouCan, how to distribute student logins, and then how to monitor your engagement as well. So it's really important that in this pack you get an overview of how you can use YouCan in your centre. Additionally, some of the suggestions, and coming from a teaching background myself, and particularly from a pastoral background, I had a really careful think about how you could use YouCan in your centres. And it's actually, like I've already said, exceptionally flexible. So you can set it independently for homework, you could set it during form time, you could set it within PSHE lessons. And like I've said, after module 1, you can choose to complete the modules however you like. The Hepsi offer pairs particularly well with YouCan as well, and resources such as What is HE or Where can HE take you next, or sessions from the careers offer like What Next After Year 11 pair really nicely with YouCan and kind of sit alongside YouCan as part of the Hepsi offer. So one of the ways that I would roll it out then, if I was to do this in a centre, deliver the slides in form time or assembly, then distribute the student flyer, distribute the staff flyer, and then students complete weekly over 2 half terms if you were completing the full block of YouCan. At the end, a celebration of achievement and using branded certificates would be an excellent way to finish YouCan as a product. Now, in terms of monitoring, the platform administrators provide Hepsi with a monthly engagement report for YouCan. So the platform administrators of YouCan provide Hepsi with a monthly update. This offers anonymised information based on the unique logins, which we show, and numbers of modules completed, the time spent completing modules, and then the Hepsi and data evaluation team take this anonymised information and match it back to individual students. As such, KPOCs and centres do not have an update on YouCan individually, but you can access the information from us. And also one of the real perks of YouCan is you don't have to do any registers. The registers do themselves. So the information then on engagement is added directly to the HEAT database, and centres are provided with the overview of students' engagements on a monthly basis via the secure Hepsi SharePoint. Please note, only the Hepsi data and evaluation team and centre staff with register access are able to use the information to decipher the individual student data, the student engagement. So it's not widely distributed across Hepsi, it's just the data and evaluation team and centre staff that have access to it. That brings us really nicely to the end of this presentation. However, if you do have any questions about YouCan that you want to post, you can do. If there are any questions you want to send to your SCPMs, you're more than welcome to do so as well. Thank you very much for attending the YouCan session or watching the pre-recording, this recording of this session now. And if you have any questions, you can contact us via the HEP website, where you can book onto more free sessions, and our careers team are also available on the chat, call and click button.